Hey, what's up guys, Jandy here. In the last 2 years, I was able to generate over 7 figures through Shopify drop shipping. And in today's video, you are going to find out how I did that and the 5 most important lessons that I learned throughout this journey. Now, I'm not here to brag, nor am I your typical ECOM guru who will show you their whole revenue for the past 2 months, and then after that they stop posting results because either their products died or they're just not finding success anymore. But I'm here to be transparent with you guys and to show you guys everything that I have done so far, also the profit. I also implemented the traditional dropshipping way, which I was able to make several 6-figure stores on. But the main breakthrough that I got was from running a traditional dropshipping stores that the online YouTube gurus are teaching you to a branded dropshipping store. Yes, you can still create a brand using dropshipping, hence why we were able to do over 7 figures in the last 2 years. With that in mind, I've transitioned most of my stores from a typical dropshipping stores that the gurus teach you to a niche branded store. This allowed me to create a sustainable long-term e-commerce business using drop shipping, and I was able to profit on a daily basis, weekly, monthly, and annual basis. So if you want to create a long-term business for yourself and you're basically tired of losing a lot of money from the traditional drop shipping way, then you can check out my other contents. My main concept is to give you guys enough information so you can find your own financial freedom. This video is actually an introduction to a series that we're doing. We are setting up a $1 million series where I will show you guys step by step on how I was able to achieve a 7-figure store, and also not just your typical Facebook ads, paid ad platforms, Shopify apps, all that winning product stuff, but we're gonna go behind the scene, what it actually took, which not many people show, to get to this level. This means we're gonna be talking about mindset stuff, habits, and also routines that I implement to myself so that you can also implement for yourself, and so you can find your own success. Now let's just go back 2 years ago where I first started. I basically started by a friend hitting me up and just introduced me to this whole entrepreneurship concept. And back then I was working at an IT job. I was still in a 9-to-5 rat race, and it's a decent paying job, and I can literally live off it for 30 years. But then after being mentored for 5 weeks by that friend, he showed me that there was more to life. It wasn't just go to school, go to work for 40 years and have enough for your retirement. I didn't want that for myself. So that gave me a really scared thought, and basically I wanted to change that, and I want to be able to provide for my family and basically reach that financial freedom level and have multiple passive income. That was my entire goal. I wanted to quit the rat race, passive income, financial freedom. So after 5 weeks of being mentored, I started looking at eBay dropshipping, and I jumped into Amazon FBA before I stumbled upon Shopify dropshipping, where I found my first success. When you hear that first cha-ching, yes, that hooked me. That dopamine rush just hooked me. And from there on, 2 years ago, I was able to generate several 6-figure stores and a $1 million store. So I set up my finance straight away, my emergency funds, my savings, and basically 60% of my take-home pay, I would reinvest it into dropshipping course, or for myself, so I can level up all the time. And that's what I did for the past 2 years. After 1 year, I was able to quit my job around this time as well, and I was able to go full-time on e-commerce. And that's where I made my breakthroughs after breakthroughs. Well, I hope you guys are ready for this. I'm now gonna tell you guys my 5 most important lessons that I learned throughout this journey, and I hope that you guys can implement it into your life as well to find success. Alright guys, just a quick one before we start. I do want to show you guys that it is possible to create a sustainable long-term dropshipping business even through this pandemic stuff and also Chinese New Year, where dropshippers normally take a break and stop running their ads. But personally, I haven't, because I created a branded dropshipping store. So today is March 23, and we've done about 12,700 or somewhere close to that. This is not the right number because it doesn't include the shipping, and this is the early new access of the dashboard of Shopify. Okay, now if we just want to go to our analytics, and we also want to change the date to see, look, we did about almost $13,000 today. It's not the end of the day yet, and I'm just gonna go back at the start of this year, March 22. Okay, we've generated about $358,000. You guys can see the graph here of how much we made, and we actually scaled from end of January up to now, and that's when Chinese New Year started, and between February and till now is where the coronavirus issue happened. And typically, you know, the dropshippers can't make any money at this time, so they have stopped running their ads due to logistics and shipping time. However, by creating a sustainable dropshipping branded store, you should be able to run your business 24/7 the whole time throughout the year. So the first lesson that I want to share with you guys is shifting my mindset from a fixed mindset to a growth mindset. Specifically for Filipinos such as myself, our culture is just devoured by the whole traditional way of doing things, and we basically get stuck. It's hard for us to be able to grow, because now I'm not talking about everybody, but majority of the population are fixated on the traditional mindset. For example, you know, your parents will tell you to go to school, go to uni, and then work till you're about 30 years old, and that's basically the traditional way of doing things, and that has been for many years. And I didn't want that for myself. That actually scared me, and I wanted to stay away from that. Hence why you need to have an open mind and to be able to take risks. Otherwise, you are just going to stay in one place, and that's the term a fixed mindset. Anything that doesn't allow you to grow is going to be difficult in the entrepreneurship journey. Now, one thing that scared me again is that I was reading one of the articles around fixed versus growth mindset, and they asked an old person what was their biggest regrets. So basically, this old person in his deathbed responded by saying he had a full of I wishes, instead of saying I have made it. And basically, that's what I want to be. That will ask me a similar question in my deathbed, and basically I want to reply by saying, yes, I have made it. Now, with that in mind, and how I apply that with e-commerce and dropshipping and this whole entrepreneurship journey for the past 2 years, I basically started off as making this as a challenge. I love challenges, and I love conquering new challenges and breaking down any obstacles that gets in my way. And that's my own personal preference. And if you want to have a growth mindset, then you're gonna have to implement a lot of things a growth-minded person has, and you want to kind of stay away from the fixed mindset. So if that's you, you probably want to read about it. Just search up growth mindset versus fixed mindset on Google. But mainly with e-commerce, with all the setbacks, failures, and challenges, the best way to think about that is you think about it as a way for you to grow, to learn more, learn from your past experiences, and always focusing on the growth of yourself and also your business. By shifting that simple mindset, you should be able to see a significant difference between the performance of your business and yourself as well. So the next lesson is an important idea that took me a while to grasp. In fact, it took me about a year before I started implementing this, which is investing on yourself, specifically mentors, coaches, and courses. Now, I couldn't tell you how much important it is for you guys to hire your own mentor and hire your own coach, so you can speed up your process by 5 to 10 folds and basically get close to the success that you want as soon as possible. For myself, I started investing on courses such as email marketing, e-commerce courses, conversion rate optimization courses, and all of that stuff, so I can implement it on my business straight away. Now, it might scare you from the very beginning because it doesn't look like it's gonna give you a good ROI. And the reason for that is because our brain has embedded this simple concept of instant gratification, and social media does that for us. When you get notifications, that's your instant gratification, and we want that for ourselves. When we invest or when we spend money, we want to see the results straight away, but that's not always the case, especially when you are looking for a mentor or a coach. A mentor or a coach will help you speed up the process because they are already there where you want to be. So that's one of my criterias when I'm looking for a coach or a mentor. I want them to be in a place where I want to be, or if they have 10 times or 20 times more success than me. I have different mentors or coaches for all of the aspects of my life. I have a coach who looks after me around e-commerce. I have a mentor that looks after me around Facebook ads, all the paid ads platforms. And I also have people or coaches that helps me with other kinds of my faith, my family, my friends. I have mentors for those, and they don't have to be someone who's online, who's a guru. It can be your friends, it could be your family, it could be someone that who has been there or who specializes in things, who has experienced way more than you. And hence why this is a very important lesson for me, and I want to be able to invest for myself more so I can speed up the process. So if that's you, if you don't have a coach or a mentor, then make sure you find one, whatever it is in your life. If you are looking into jumping into entrepreneurship, then this is one of the most important things you can do for yourself. Now, this next lesson is an important one, and one of the biggest factor that a normal entrepreneurship, or if you've just started your dropshipping journey, will affect you, because this is where people quit. The reason for that is because they don't take enough risks. You have to take risks, especially with entrepreneurship. It's basically full of risks, and that's how you're going to be able to grow. And this takes us back to the fixed mindset versus growth mindset. A fixed-minded person would not take the risk because they're scared of the uncertainty. However, with a growth-minded person, taking risk is in their blood. They want to take risks because this also speeds up the process of becoming successful. I mean, who here hasn't felt scared or has felt any fear in their blood, you know. It was only until I started taking more risks that enabled me to create breakthroughs after breakthrough. In fact, if I was to relive my life again, even when I was a teenager, then I would have taken more risks. That's one of the biggest regrets I have. That's followed by going to university. It's another regrets that I have, and then not taking enough risks. After I found out that concept, that just opened up a whole new world for me, because that's how you get separated from the 99% of the people who's in that fixed mindset to that 1% really successful person who just loves taking risks. You can tell a person is into entrepreneurship when, you know, all they talk about is taking risks. And hence why I created a community, Action Takers. Now, if you haven't joined our Facebook group, feel free to do so. It's called the ECOM Action Takers. I want people to take action and to be surrounded by like-minded people, like a growth-minded person, okay? And by doing that, you know, it boosts the morale, the community standards, and also the performances of each person in the group. And because if you see someone who's having success, instead of thinking, okay, how can I put this guy down, you are actually supporting them, and you need support. And that is also one of my biggest regret, is I didn't have enough support back then, which I do now, to be able to level up. And when taking risks, I mean, if you don't try it, you know, if you don't try running ads, if you don't try launching that first e-commerce store, or if you don't try the new online thing that you can use to provide more income for you, then how are you gonna find out if it's good or not? How can you have an opinion with something that you haven't tried before? And that's one thing that pisses me off. I really dislike it when a person says something bad about one thing, or a friend or person, or something negative which they haven't had experience with. So make sure you get to know the person first, or you get to actually try it, try your best before deciding or making an opinion about it. And a quick thought actually, which I just remembered, if I hadn't taken the risks, I wouldn't be here where I am now. I wouldn't have quit my job. I wouldn't be working from home, you know, generating me thousands of profit per day if I hadn't taken that jump. Now let's move on to my top 2 lesson that I have experienced so far, and that is focusing on creating a system, automating things, work, tasks, infrastructure to create a passive income. With Shopify dropshipping or e-commerce, this is definitely crucial, because you want to be able to automate as much tasks as possible so you can continue to focus on the business growth. Now, I was so blinded with passive income, you know, and with society telling you just gotta work hard and result will follow. But that's not always the case. If you see the top 10 most successful people, it wasn't because they were working really hard that got them there. It was because they were smart with their delegation and automating tasks so that they can focus on the actual business growth itself. So if you have that mindset of work harder to get more results, then sadly, you know, you're more focused on the work itself than the growth of the business. And I personally experienced that as well. Many of my students, I've told them to, yes, you can work at the very start of your business and create a structure for yourself that works for you, but you gotta learn how to do that first before you delegate that task. With e-commerce, you know, back then I used to fulfill thousands and thousands of orders. I used to focus on customer service, and that's taking a lot of time from the day. And for example, with customer service as well, it has that emotional attachment. You get negative emails from a customer that will affect the whole day, and you're just gonna feel down and you won't be able to work as well. However, if you delegate that, outsource that, using Upwork and Fiverr, then that's gonna free up your time so that you can put those valuable time, which is the most essential thing in this world, time, to something better that allows you to grow your business. Now, you probably heard it from this video a lot of times already about growth, because without growth, then you basically get stuck. Now, something that enabled me to go from $1,000 to $10,000 days was I created a team that works for me. I have a person who does my website, does my product imports, product descriptions, my video ads, and now I'm teaching someone who also does Facebook ads and order fulfillment and customer service. I created a whole team that works for drop shipping, branded drop shipping stores, and that allows to free up a lot of time, so I can focus on the scaling of the business. Now, this last lesson is the most crucial, most important lesson so far, is having a $1 million morning routine or creating habits. Now, if you've read a lot of entrepreneurship book or self-development book, they always talk about the habits and the routines, morning routines that they have, because that sets up the whole day. And that's the same case for me. The biggest breakthrough I got was because of my morning routines and the habits that I do. Without having a structured morning routine, my whole day will not be as optimized and as efficient. You want to make your time very useful, and that ties in with your emotions as well. By having a set morning routine, that allowed me to have my mind right just before I work, have a structured system and time in place to work on one task on another, so that creates efficiency between those. My morning routine is basically really simple. I wake up really early, around 5 a.m. to 5:30 a.m. and then I would just go on affirmation mode. Affirmation is one of the biggest things as well that helped me set my mind right. You have to be grateful, show gratitude, and be as thankful as you can. Especially when you just wake up, you will have a positive mindset, and everything will just go positive from there. For example, you can be thankful for the water that you drank yesterday. It can be as small as that, as long as you have that positive mindset. The next thing I do is I write all my to-do lists. Hence, that's my structured time for each task. And then I go to my workouts. My morning workouts is really important. That sets up my body. So that sets up my body, my time, my mind. And then the next thing is go on a cold shower. By going on a cold shower, this is the most probably a lot of people are skeptical about this, but for my own reasoning, by taking a cold shower, I basically eliminated the hardest thing for the day. And going into that battle and beating that battle, winning that battle will set the pace for what comes next, which is my working time. I usually work between 10 to 12, and then I'll have like an hour or 2 hour break, and then 2 to 5 and so forth. So I only work for about 4 hours, or between 4 hours to 6 hours per day, sometimes even less, because I created a system, a morning routine for myself that sets up for that. And it's as efficient, as optimized as possible, so that I can focus on what's important. Now, I hope you guys learned something new from all of the lessons that I learned throughout my entrepreneurship journey. If you have any questions, feel free to ask below in the comment section. And if you haven't done so, feel free to like and subscribe or hit that notification bell so you don't miss out on any videos like this. This is the introduction for our $1 million series. We're gonna have a lot more videos regarding this topic, and I'll see you guys soon.